We are back for round 2 and we are going to play first. This is an okay hand. Even if we draw some more lands, we have ways to use it and we should be able to control the board quite nicely. Now, what I don't like about this hand is that we only have one blue source, which is going to make this kind of uncomfortable to use. But this hand has quite a lot of potential to develop. This hand makes me wish that we had played some amount of Sign in Bloods. Could be using it very nicely here. It's possible that we are just going to put Mark of the Vampire on Walking Corpse as soon as possible, but maybe we want to drop the Entrancer first, giving us some more insight. Now this was his best drop. I mean it's turn 3 only, but it gets stopped by Kraken Hatchling already. So going for the Entrancer here, I think I'll have time to put Mark of the Vampire on Walking Corpse if that's what I want to do. Even if he has another creature and stays back with both, I mean he doesn't have any incentive to attack with the cursor. I don't want to waste this so early. Oh well, that makes the mark on Walking Corpse a little more interesting. But we didn't draw a land to also activate the Entrancer. Now, putting Mark of the Vampire on Walking Corpse means that it's either trading for these two, or it's going to get through for 4. And next turn, he is probably going to put the cursor and another creature in front of it, but then we can just decide not to attack and keep it back as a defensive card. We also have Public Execution if we ever draw into our lands. Switcheroo is going to be good. Yeah, Mark is just the best play that we have for our mana. And now it's his turn to decide if he wants to block or not. Okay, I think that's a fair deal. I also didn't really want to play against the Rummaging Goblin. That's really unfortunate. That's a very good Acidic Slime right there. I don't know if there's any flash effects. I mean, there's the 4/4 rare. I'm just not going to attack. Okay, he doesn't seem to have anything like that. All of these cards are fine. We can take 2 damage for a long time. And if we draw another Swamp, then we have Public Execution. Death Touch, Hexproof, Reach, or Trample. For 2 Trample, okay. Of course, our goal would be to use Public Execution to full effect. This attack means that, okay, he doesn't attack with the tracker, so it looks like he doesn't have a way to pump it. But then this attack doesn't make that much sense. Even if he has the Titanic Growth, it's still better to just drop the Spiked Baloth here, which he does. And we are screwed. He still has 3 cards and 6 lands, so our best bet is to hope that he has 3 lands in hand, which I don't think he does, but it's possible. It's more likely that he's just going to kill one of our creatures, like he did with the bat. Yep. I'm afraid we are most likely too far behind here. I still don't have a good block, so don't see a reason to block differently here. Well, that's not the worst. Well, we can always draw Mutilate, I guess. If he doesn't have another removal spell for this guy, we might have a chance. But he used his Searing Spear really quickly. He might have. I mean, it was only a 3-1. Didn't really change his attacking options. Now let's see what he attacks with. Everything. So now we are certainly able to eat this one, and the hatchling can prevent 2 damage. Now the Nighthawk should probably try to trade with the Baloth here. He's giving us a free creature basically, and we don't have a way to block this. If we draw an island, we can switcheroo or just public execution something, and we certainly need the Nighthawk. The alternative would be to keep the Nighthawk around by preventing 4 damage here and blocking this. The Nighthawk seems like it's our best bet to win this game, if we have a chance to win it. So yeah, that seems more reasonable, and I still need to prevent the damage, the high amount of damage that I can prevent with the hatchling. Let's see if this resolves. That looks good at least. We remain on 6 life. Don't have a good switcheroo target anymore. But if necessary, I'm going to give him the Entrancer. Seven trample. Okay, now let's hope for a land to public execution. That's not a land. It's a Mutilate. Yeah, right. So he has a 7/7, which we can't mutilate anymore. It tramples over, so we take 4. When the Nighthawk blocks the worm, we take 4. And the slime deals 2, so we take 6. But the Entrancer chump blocks the Baloth, so we survive. And then we hopefully mutilate the turn after. Any burn spell kills us, of course. And there's a lot of other cards that do as well. Let's hope that if he has a creature, he drops it. And then we might find back into the game. Okay, it seems like it's too large. No, it's an X spell. Okay, so we are dead. Yeah, he just destroyed our island and then we didn't draw the lands we needed. He also has quite a nice deck, so not much to say about that. The worm really got us. Okay, let's see if we can sideboard here. We don't want all of this. Duress could be nice. I mean, we've seen him play quite a lot of removal spells. Certainly don't want this. And I'm also hesitant about the Harbor Serpents. I like the blocker it gives against him, but he has cards like Acidic Slime, so we can't rely on our islands too much. So the mid-range setup of his deck means that he's very well equipped to make cards like this obsolete. I also didn't see many targets for Crippling Blight, sadly, so we need all the heavy hitters we can get without going down too much on the well, without losing our early plays, basically. Now, I don't like to board in the 1/1s because he has shown that he isn't playing a lot of X1s, so I'm going to keep the Hatchling, but I'm probably going to cut at least one Crippling Blight. Now, Duress could be an option, but I think I want the card draw first. Now, I know that he has at least one X-Spell to burn us out with, so Duress seems like a card we certainly need to control the game. Now, let's see what we can do. Boarding out this and the Serpent seems like a good idea. Switcheroo didn't impress me much. I mean, we couldn't cast it, but it also wouldn't have been that great. So, also the Entrancers are kind of weak against him. He has, well, we certainly drew the wrong half of the deck, but I think we can get rid of one of them. Then I want Sign in Blood, Divination, Duress, and I think I might actually want another Sign in Blood. I like to stay on 7 islands that way, and this gives us at least a fighting chance on the play against his deck. Yeah, let's try that. And we didn't draw any of our card draw spells, but still like this hand well enough. Being able to counter an Acidic Slime is certainly valuable. And it looks like I might be forced to just block here immediately. It's not likely that he plays something better. Well, it's possible. Well, he doesn't even want to trade. That's interesting. And it's good for me, certainly. So, if he doesn't want to trade, I'm also not going to trade. It's very possible that I need my creature later on. And I probably don't need to Essence Scatter that. No, I'm just going to keep open Essence Scatter. I can take 1 or 2 more hits from the cursor. And of course I hope that he drops a large creature here. That's not a large creature, but it's a very good creature. So I think I need to Essence Scatter that. At this point I can just essence drain his cursor, get back some of the life I lost, and we are basically out of gas. I think we kept a hand with 3 spells and drew 1. So now is the perfect time to draw into one of our, well, not this one, draw into one of our card draw spells. It's possible that he's just sitting there with a 7/7 trample and missing his second green. And maybe also acidic slime. Now, I think I'm offering the trade now. Potentially the walking corpse is going to get through at some point. He could also be sitting on something like Magma Quake. So I'm just going to wait with the walking corpse. I think I want to block here, giving him a way to kill my hatchling with... No, I'm going to take the damage. It seems like I'm giving him a very nice way to spend his turn, when I could just instead continue playing my game. I don't want to drop the mark, as long as I don't know what's happening. I could have dropped Walking Corpse, but I was still respecting Magma Quake. Maybe I shouldn't have. So the problem is I can't Mark of the Vampire without him Searing Sparing in response. So I could only enchant the Kraken Hatchling, which seems kind of bad. So I think beginning next turn I'm going to block the Arsonist with the Hatchling. And I'm not going to drop the corpse. If he has a card like Titanic Growth, then it's also possible that we time walk him again if he wants to use his green mana otherwise. Untap target forest, okay. I do have to play Mark of the Vampire at some point, and he has just played the first Searing Spear. It's possible that he has another one, but I'm not drawing any of my large creatures. In fact, most of my creatures aren't very large. I'm just going to run out Walking Corpse, and then I can see if he F6'd, which he didn't. But I think I'm just going to try it anyway. It's a risky play, but I have so many lands. And that's the turn where he most likely drops his 7/7 trample. Or Acidic Slime to get rid of Mark. That's also a good answer. The Beast Tracker getting the slime, or the 7/7. Okay. That was a nice draw. The race looks like it's heavily in my favor, but of course it depends if he has anything. Whoa. Really nice. I don't understand why he attacked first. Seems like a waste. Also interesting that he didn't decide to go for the worm. Yeah, this isn't looking good. We can still draw a divination or a mutilate, or both. Mutilate. We do have 7 swarms, so I think we have to take 6 damage here and hope that he drops something else. The alternative would have been to drop the mutilate and then hope to draw into a creature for a switcheroo, which might have been better considering that he also has the volcanic geyser. But now it's good for me if he drops the worm, but it's also good if he doesn't. So that's a nice thing. And that was a good draw once again. Now my creatures are most likely going to be much worse than his worm. We do have an acidic slime for his forest. That would be a nice alternative. But the 7/7 just wins the game. That must be better, and we aren't dying from his X spell anytime soon, so he also isn't going to be able to kill the worm very easily. Well, his best play would be having 2 creatures so that he only has to block with one of them, or another death touch creature. Okay, this is looking fine. And this doesn't really help. We are still dead to anything like Mark of Mutiny, but other than that, we should win this. That's really exciting. This is a tough matchup because he has so many ways to generate card advantage. Arm Stealer, the removal spells on with my aura, Flames of the Firebrand, quite obviously, Acidic Slime, Beast Tracker, like half his cards generate card advantage. And I have to get card advantage in a much tougher way. So in a certain way, I'm not really the control-ish deck in this matchup, even though of course it's much better once we go into sideboarding. Things get much easier. Now, what we've seen in this matchup is that he has some early plays, but they aren't the most impressive ones. He has shown much more 1 toughness guys than before, though. And I also like that Jace's Phantasm gives us another way to dominate his creatures in the late game, even though he's always going to have the larger creatures if the game goes long enough. I think he also played around Essence Scatter quite a bit, so that's not good for us, certainly. Now, I didn't like how this card performed. I think he has too much removal, and I don't have any good, well, I don't have great targets, so I'm going to cut this, even though I like the life gain it gives us. The servants are awful if he has the Arc Lightning reprint, but there is quite a lot of cards which I don't really like that much. I think Crippling Blight is a good card to have, and it might be my best bet to just try to win with Jace's Phantasm. So somehow I feel like these cards add more to the matchup than I previously thought. So I think having these, I should complement them with the second Entrancer, and then I need to cut 3 more cards. And let's see. We could get rid of 1 Sign in Blood. We could also get rid of an Encrust. I don't see myself taking 7 from his Worm and then encrusting it. And it's also kind of bad to play the control matchup against him, given how much he's capable of doing with his cards. I'm going to cut 1 Servant because I don't want the 1 Toughness card. And now the question is, can I afford to play 2 Sign in Bloods, or do I need to cut another card draw spell? I think I need all the card draw against him, even on the draw. But it's really tough to cut 1 more card from the ones I have here. Ravenous Rats, maybe. Yeah, Ravenous Rats might be the card I don't need. The Hatchling seems more important, but that might be wrong. Kraken Hatchling or a Ravenous Rats. He isn't beating down that much, but well, let's just go with Ravenous Rats. It's also black, which I kind of like. And 10-7 is still right. Okay, let's do this. Now we have the slowest hand possible. And we're on the draw, but I'm not mulliganing. We can still draw into one of our 2-drops, and if he doesn't start with Arbor Elf, then we hopefully have enough time. That's interesting, but not a big deal. And we are going to have a problem with the Divination on the draw. But thankfully he didn't play anything, so that's really good for us. Now I can drop an island, that's not a big deal. If I Divination now, I have to discard, so I can't really do that. I need all my lands. Let's hope that he plays a creature I can Crippling Blight. Well, he just doesn't play any creatures, that's also interesting. Now, Sign in Blood has the same problem as Divination, but I'm getting closer and closer to just being able to Essence Drain something he plays. Once again, the worst case is really Acidic Slime. It's always such a beating. I have a Switcheroo now, okay. Now, I won't be able to play multiple spells, but I can Divination. And I don't see a reason to Crippling Blight his Slime. That just doesn't make much sense. Oh, well, that was stupid. I wanted to Crippling Blight because I didn't want to discard, so yeah, that was awful. Now, would have also been better to Sign in Blood and then draw Walking Corpse, but we didn't, so I think I'm going to discard the double blue spell. I don't think I'm going to have the time to use it. Yeah, that was just unnecessary. Three, 2, Intimidate, okay. Now we are never going to block the Intimidate guy, and he can always Kite Sail something, so it seems like killing his larger creature is the better choice here. We still have Public Execution if he drops the 7/7. And we can Walking Corpse, Switcheroo something. This is dangerous. So this gives him basically an arbitrary amount of goblins if the game goes long enough. Yeah. Now I'm afraid I need to Public Execution this as soon as possible, which is now. I can't Crippling Blight it, and I pay with taking that much damage. Okay. The alternative would be to Walking Corpse with the goal of switcherooing his Krenko. And that would give me a way to win the game, basically. But I can just kill I can just steal whatever he plays next, so need to play this carefully. I also didn't want to give him a 1/1. Now he only has 2 cards in his library, so the 1/1 flying guy isn't going to be that impressive. But I might actually Crippling Blight and Phantasm here. Crippling Blight, the card I should have played much earlier, but I didn't. So he's certainly going to have something to kill the Phantasm. But that's not a big concern here. For example, this plummet. And this probably means that he's going to get his 7/7. I hope so, because it's a great target for a switcheroo. Okay, that's the worm. Now the second island isn't really getting me far. It's even possible that he thinks I have cancel. I don't think I can afford to play around much at this point. I'm also dying from his beatdown. I'm going to just throw him 1 island, maybe that helps. I was hoping that he allows this trade. If he equips it, then I take 3 in the air instead of 2, which is kind of relevant. The servant isn't going to work here. Well, I could drop the servant, but I can't give him the servant. That would be madness. So these 2. And the servant as well. Yeah, I don't think that's looking too well. He's equipping, if he equips the corpse, I still take 3 in the air, and the worm just trades for his acidic slime. So overall, I probably just took too much damage. I also made a stupid mistake by not blighting the slime on turn 4. Taking another 2 here. And another 1/1 flyer, but if he has a red spell, then my creatures can't block. I'm just going to try attacking here. I basically don't have very many outs anyway, so I'm just going to hope that he doesn't have anything. If he has a red spell or 2, then I'm dead anyway. Yeah, right. That's a good card. Okay. Good games. I don't think I win this. if I play a little better, I might have a shot. I just think that his deck was just a little too powerful. The single cards, especially Acidic Slime, the Tracker. He also showed the Boss and Flames, and the Kite Sail kind of won him the game as well. So I could have played better, but my deck also didn't give me the cards I needed to beat him. The Phantasms were pretty awkward, pretty bad, but it kind of depends on the point in the game where you draw them. I guess having the Mark of the Vampire would have been good on the Worm as a late game option to swing the race in my favor, but that's how it goes. This is a Swiss pre-release draft, so you're getting one more round.